Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Farah. Welcome to my channel where today it's Wednesday, November 5th. Hi, it's 7:02 because I'm always like 1 or 2 minutes late. This is my life, but I'm working on it. Time management is on top of my November intentions, as well as like getting right on in front of that SADS, honey. Listen, welcome. I'm going to let the room populate, but obviously we're getting into Sister Wives. This is season 20. I love saying it every time. Episode 6. And yeah, a lot of nothing happens. And specifically, nothing happens in Mary's entire segment, like every season, but also like since she broke up. But really, even like besides the catfish, nothing has happened with Mary. Like, Mary had a child come out to her, and then she, like, had a catfish situation, which was so wild for a storyline because you never see it. Like, you never get to see that kind of stuff on other reality shows. So many reality shows regurgitate the same storylines of like, this best friend hurt this best friend and then they have to go on a trip together or whatever, all that kind of bullshit. But it's rare that, like on 90 Day Fiance, if Libby and Andre got like catfished by some person who she was like pretending to be like or was in love with, it would be like a big ass deal. But yeah, it was great that we got to watch that. Almost like shocking we did. And but since then Mary just obviously hangs out with Jen, and it's wild of the producers to think that we should stomach this. I know I have to stop saying wild. Okay. Um Welcome. Hi. I don't have that much makeup on, and it's because it's late. It's 7 o'clock on the West Coast. It feels like it's 2 a.m. Like, it's been dark for 7 hours. Like, I can't believe I'm up still. I mean, it's hard. It's the exact feeling, and it because of the fallback that happened. It's feels like I have a fever and I have to just stay indoors and eat only like chicken soup, either like a creamy or broth based, either creamy or clear, and or turkey chili. Like, that's it. Anyways, we're gonna get in. Let's see where we at. 2 minutes 34 seconds. Hi, friends. If you haven't yet, please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. That would all be great. Please share with your friends. I'm on the precipice of building up, I guess, my fun solo pop culture recap brand. So you'll see images coming up and stuff like that. It's all there. Yeah, everyone's so tired. I get it. Okay. All right, baby boos. Let's get into this ep. It was called We're Not Brother Husbands. And, I'm glad we talked about that. I'm glad they brought it up because it's the basic, like, pendulum shift of the like entire concept of this show, Sister Wives. And we all know that this is a patriarchal world. It's a man's world. And so is religion. And this one specifically. And so, there are no brother husbands. I would love to know if I'm wrong in the fundamentalist sect of Mormonism and or Christianity that does this. I don't even think there's brother husbands in other fundamentalist religious sects that allow multiple wives. Like, I would love someone to tell me. I don't want to say it. Like, I know for a fact that doesn't exist in Mormonism. I don't think it exists in Islam. You tell me, truly. And I know there are matriarchal societies, but they're few and far between. And so, you know, it's interesting because David and Cody are presented this season as being much more similar than you would think, although they do have differences. And we get to see both men's reaction to the term brother husbands. And arguably, David almost has like a kind of brash reaction to it. And Cody is more like a little jovial about it. And this is interesting because we'll get into the scene with Christine and David, and where Christine is like, you guys would have fun together. I think you guys would have fun. Okay, so let's just start at the very beginning, just like Julie Andrews. Okay, it starts this episode with Cody saying, "You haven't seen jack of what happened." Now, we are upset by that. I mean, could I speak for all of us when we're like, well, then tell us more. We would love more because, like we get so little and it's like we've, fiend on it or whatever. If there's more, we would absolutely take it. We want to know more truly. I mean, not, I just said truly as a, adjective and not for the person. Um, I would like more truly as well. It's fine. I would take any more of all the kids. Maybe not Peyton. I'm good. Okay, so he's fine, I'm sure. And I think that maybe him I'm hoping that him living with Maddie and Janelle, like as an adult man, kind of like smooths out a little of his like kind of his like generational thing that feels like he's somewhat misogynistic and somewhat, just in the box of like a traditional red pill kind of guy. And that's who his dad is. Because I've said this at the other episode, which is, I think, something that maybe someone on Reddit said too. Maddie is now the matriarch of the family, even though I've now said this is a patriarchal world. Obviously, they broke out of it. They broke away from Cody. And Christine was the first, obviously, and then Janelle the second, and Mary the third. So Mary, even leaving, didn't even have like a great moment leaving because like Christine's moment was so big. And Janelle was like also huge because, they were like the silent sufferers. We like assumed that Mary would want to leave because of the catfish, and then she was the last to leave, which is so crazy because we were like, Christine's the one that really loved him. I'm not saying Janelle didn't, but I mean, okay. Maddie is now the matriarch. So the point of me saying that is that Peyton moving to be with Maddie makes me feel like there's a possibility that some of that like sensibility, as an adult will be like rubbed off on him and he will just have a little more respect for the way people move in this world and the opportunities afforded to like more than half of the people and the ways in which they have to sacrifice to move in I don't know, a man's world. Okay. Also, he watched his moms like be in a really shitty situation. So in that moment, I also want him to have like a little more empathy for women and have a little more sensitivity and have a little more like, I don't know, less of an ego kind of like driven all or nothing sort of ego in his like statements. The way he talks just feels like, I said ego twice, but he feels so definitive as if he knows what he's talking about. And he looks like a 2-year-old. And we know that he's like, God bless, a very sheltered reality star person that was like, buddy, like take it back a little bit. It's interesting. Anyway, but here's the thing. That's probably a lot of people, and that's probably a lot of kids are probably not wanting to be on the show just to not have some asshole like me talking about them on YouTube. I get that. So, this is the two sides of Honey the Knife. Okay. It starts on Robin and Cody. Now, Robin and Cody are in their new home, which they really wanted. It's a mansion. And the fact that they wanted this home so bad made them actually move on doing anything to sell Coyote Pass because it's very obvious that the only thing that was in the way of selling Coyote Pass was Cody, either because he needed, this is like what the streets are saying. You know, well, let me just say this. The TV show, like, instance, Janelle and Mary, but mostly Janelle has expressed that he has dragged his feet in this whole situation, and then he won't do things and it's hard to get a hold of him. And Mary has said the same thing. And he has admitted to the following things. A, being like, those women don't do anything about this and I have to do everything and they're just sitting back. And then of course this episode we literally get like shot of them both having a rebuttal, which is the funnest part of this producing. Janelle's rebuttal being like, bitch, I fucking did. I tried to give you money. I tried to give you money just to have someone else do this, my lawyer or whatnot, so you wouldn't have to like do anything. And you said no, A. And Mary, God bless, was like, it's in your name. It's in your name. So these things are in your name. I can't just like go to the office be like, hi, I want it in my name. He's not here, so just do it. He'll be okay with it. Obviously. The streets, and by the streets I mean Reddit or whatever, say that he needed to keep the parcel of land as an equity piece in such a way to garner the mortgage payment to, I don't know, dance around and or get this new space, this new mega mansion in Flagstaff that also feels so 90s. It's interesting. It makes me feel like I know there's new construction in Flagstaff, but it does feel like Robin has one aesthetic, and the aesthetic is 90s. I mean, a 90s family home with all of the like brown woodwork that like goes into such a place. It's great. A lot of pictures, not a lot of pictures, but I took a lot for this segment, and almost all of them are of Cody and Robin, and you'll see why. So she's unpacking like really, let's say it, beautiful. I'll give it to her, etched glassware. Yeah, I don't know where it's from. I mean, I was like, is it baccarat? I mean, I'm not quite sure, but it is beautiful. It's etched. But then also, I was like, you guys don't drink though. Like, you don't you guys not drink wine? It's wine glasses. These are beautiful wine glasses. I mean, maybe you're like, no, it's for the lemonade. No, it's for Thanksgiving when we all get pomegranate lemonade. I put pomegranate in it, so it's a little like darker colored, festive. Okay. So basically this gives a setup of Cody running in and being like, guess what? I did 1% of effort to sell Coyote Pass and it resulted in, you know, success, because without it really being on the market, this realtor we met from the other episode brought someone who I guess didn't want one part and then gave a lowball offer. And then Cody was so proud of himself by being like, no, not good enough. And then that person came back with like an all cash offer of what they wanted for 2 properties. Now, we know there's more than 2 properties. There's more than 2 properties. There's 4 properties, one for each wife. Now, it's awkward because Cody put his name on like, whatever he did. Christine's out of the equation. And because she, of course, got the proceeds of the sale of her home to get the F out of the entire debacle, she must have pat herself on the back 1 billion times. That money is in a Moab Airbnb flip, that she's making side income on, besides the fact that she's doing the plexus. So, multiple streams. So basically, these people are going to buy 2 of those lots. And Robin is like, oh, it's great news, but also, and I mean, the fact that we have to hear this again, she's like, but it's also so sad because I'm having a really hard time letting it go and accepting the family is done. Oh my God, I cannot believe that you are still like, I can't believe that she would say that so many times and like not know how weird she looks. Like, she was the latest addition to a family that was there for longer than even now. Even now, Robin to this very day, the family existed longer than that before Robin came in the picture. So I know that was like weird the way I said that, but just to that degree for Robin to be like, I am the last one holding on to the dream of this family. It's like, you don't know this family. Like, you've never known this family. You were never part of the family. So, Robin, I hate to say this because it does feel like everyone hates you and everyone shits on you. And, God bless. I don't want that for anyone, except for certain people. It's not Robin. But I mean, I don't want hate on anyone. Although there's like definitely like evil people in this world. All that to say, Robin, you really have to hear this. They rejected you, not Cody. Cody invited you into the family, and the family rejected you. And Cody was like me or her, and they were like, Fine, both of you. The thought of Robin in that family was shitty for the entire family. And I'm saying that because Robin really has to hear they don't want you. They didn't like, even if it continued, they hated you and they didn't want you in the family. So, like, give up that dream, buddy, because it wasn't ever a dream. It's, it's like, okay, this is so shitty, but like, this is the only metaphor I can think about that. It's as if I went to New York and I auditioned for SNL. And for some reason, Lorne Michaels was like, Chris, you know what? You're fucking great. You're great. I'm going to put you on. Okay. But then he, whatever. This is like such a but you'll understand the metaphor. But this is obviously ridiculous of me to say. But it's as if I then joined the cast of SNL and they don't like me at all. And I make myself known that Lorne should put me in their sketches. And they're like, but she is a bad actor, or she is selfish, or she will, like, do things behind the scenes to fuck up my scenes, like, whatever. I would never do this. I'm actually obviously a beautiful ensemble player. But they're like, that's like what they're experiencing of me. And they're like going to Lauren or going to producers. And Lauren's like, no, Chris Farah is God or whatever. What a beautiful dream. So it would be like then the entire SNL production crew, all of them being like, you know what, Lauren, we won't do this anymore. We're going to stop. And Lauren's like, what are you talking about? SNL has been an institution for whatever, 50 years, whatever. I say, I can't do math. 40 years? It's 50, right? And they just had their thing. And why would you give this up? And then, they were like, well, we will, because it's so shitty. We hate her so much. We hate you now because you keep, like, defending her. And it's as if you don't even have like any place in your heart or soul to see what we have all done and what we have sacrificed for this show, you stupid monster. And then he was like, okay. And then fuck you all, bye. And then the entire show SNL ends. And then I have the audacity to, like, 4 years later be like, I just am still mourning the loss of SNL. Like, meanwhile, Eddie Murphy and every like star of SNL is like, you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kristen Wiig would be like, this is obviously a far-fetched, but that's the kind of like way in which I see Robin. She was never a part of something that already existed, and the entire thought of her joining decimated the entire thing. And then years later, she's like, I'm just holding on to something that you ruined. Anyway, okay. Please tell me if you think that was a good metaphor that I spent a long time thinking of. Okay. So, and by thinking of, I mean talking through, obviously just thought about it. This is a stream of consciousness. We all know that. I'll try and talk slower. So then at this point, Cody's like, let it go, bitch. We're in this new home and we're going to get a cash offer for 2 of the lots. And I don't want to deal with these biddies anymore. And then he says, Robin is very special. She's someone who feels things deeply. She really sits in those feelings. There's a lot of like, okay. I hate this. I love it. I love to talk about it. I hate it so much. There are certain things about this is so funny to me. First of all, I hate that that's the way I feel about myself. I hate that he allows her to do that, but would never say that about Christine, who obviously is someone who feels things and sits in her feelings. Like, Christine's that. But Robin is very special because she deeply feels things. Other people just tiptoe into one little pond of a feel, not even a feeling, a feel. They're like, too much for me. I just like the way in which she was and he wrapped their minds around the idea of each other. But it really feels like she got him to wrap his mind around a golden statue of her. He really does worship her. I mean, he does idolize her, like in a way that if I was a religious elder, it would be like, buddy, you think of Robin higher than God. And I think that I'm maybe putting this on, but like for how much Cody abandoned the thought of his family, and therefore, from what I ascertain, his family is like the religious stairway to heaven, right? Like the cosmic way to heaven for a lot of the fundamentalist polygamous peeps are the huger the family and the cosmic angels that, like are all up there when you die and you're all together forever, right? Um, he abandoned all that to idolize Robin. Like, but he's never taken accountability for hardly any of this. It's interesting because he kind of tiptoe around accountability in this episode more than I ever have, like heard of him. But it still doesn't feel like he understands the ways in which his behavior was so hurtful, troublesome, unsafe, really illuminating at the same time to so many members of his family that they all were like, we won't ever put ourselves in a position to be hurt by you. And because of the nature of the family, how he would be the head of the family, it's like this discernment. Like, we don't trust your discernment anymore. It's like it's a mutiny. Anyway, and he has had to sit with that failure, and I'm happy about that. Okay, so in discussing the properties, Robin says Cody on his bad days is unfair, but on good days he's fair, and he wants Robin wants Mary and Janelle to trust her. She wants them to trust her that Robin, who's talking, will do her best to make sure that he is fair. I mean, if she has any say over that, is what she says. Why even say that? At this point, why would those women trust you for anything? Also, you literally just said on Cody's bad days, he's unfair, which we feel like are most days. I, I was like, can you take that to court? If he isn't fair, just take that sentence to court. Because I feel like it's an admission. I don't know how like court works in the sense of like spouses, because there's the spousal power of privilege attorney. No, you can't. Like you can duck out of whatever. Obviously, you can duck out of what having to be on trial and bear witness against your married person, right? I can't remember, obviously. You can tell I'm an actor. I don't remember the term they use for that. Spousal privilege. Oh, privilege. What a fucking privilege. Anyway, but that sentence that is just on TV. I mean, he's a bad business person. You can't say that. It's just, I think it was like telling. On bad days, he'll be unfair. That's not good. Okay. We jump over to Christine and David, and they are, eating dinner at Cucina Toscana. She loves it, honey. She's just like, it's great. We get to go to the Italian restaurant sometimes. It's so easy. It's just the two of us. I can order the cacio e pepe. I'll make him order the penne vodka. I get both. Doesn't that sound so good? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Christine looks great. This is the look of the episode for me. Christine, I feel like, works with a personal stylist. Look at this if you're on YouTube. Look, or wherever you're seeing this. It's a beautiful canary yellow, and it looks so good against her beautiful like blonde hair. She looks just like stunning. It's like a perfect date night. Let me go back and see. I can't. It looks like she's eating like fettuccine or cacio pepe. Now, she's obviously talking about how much she enjoys not being in a multi-marriage household and kind of like is going back and forth comparing David to Cody. And she's like, it's just so nice. Like, I can just be with you. I don't have to think about you. I get to have you with, I get to go to bed with you, wake up, coffee with you. I don't have to think about you and anyone else. And we kind of have a little like jump around where we talk about keeping score. Mary's like, yeah, everyone keeps score. And Janelle's like, well, I didn't have time to keep score, but sometimes I did keep score. Um, David said Christine called him Cody once when she was mad, and they kind of have a conversation about calling each other different spousal names. He, I guess, also called Christine Margaret, and he hasn't been married to Margaret in years, honey. And then Cody's like, yeah, like it was hard. And Christine's like, I'll give that man grace, that Cody, because he never did. He never fucked up names. When it goes to Cody, he's like, no, I totally did. I just like covered it up. I'd be like, yeah, Janelle said the same. So hi. That's what you said hi. And I said, hi. Janelle said the same. Hi. You're just like, hi. You didn't catch that? But they kind of dance around the topic of like whether that happened during sex too. David brings up how Christine feels about like how like he asks her like what's happening with the other wives. She's like, well, obviously Janelle's doing great. I do not talk to Mary. I do not talk to Robin. And we know that, obviously, the Robin situation. But she's like, here's a little more information. I've never trusted Robin with things. And it's because I would tell her things and then she would tell Cody. I would get in trouble. Cody would come and tell me things that I had just fucking told that person. It was very obvious. And I'd be like, okay, well, I guess fuck you. And then it went to Robin and she's like, I made mistakes. She would tell me things that she wanted Cody to do. And I thought that I was helping by telling Cody. And I realized that was not it. I want to be like, were the things that Christine was telling Robin only Cody things? Or did Christine tell Robin other things that then Cody suddenly knew that had nothing to do with Cody? And half of me feels like one of two things. Either Robin is like, well, fuck you, Christine. I'm only here for Cody. I only want Cody, and I'll use your information to, close, further tether me and Cody together. And obviously, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Whatever, God bless. So I don't know if that makes sense in this whatever moment, but I said that anyway. But basically, she's like, either that or she really tried to help and she was just so dumb and she got like caught up in situations. But I just feel like the Robin that I know and the one that we keep seeing when they first got engaged, she was so she was so okay, let me say this. She was trying so hard to lure him in. When they show them in the next scene talking about their painting and we get this shot of them talking, she's flirting so hardcore in a way that like gave me like Lolita vibes. It was almost like, and I hate to use that, but like someone trying to really flirt with, idolize, if not flatter someone older. And she's going to go on and talk about seeing a married man and what that does to a woman. And obviously, it lays bare her true nature and how she feels about married men and what she saw, which it's funny because I don't feel that way. And I know that she's from like she wasn't born in a polygamist family. And so she chose this later on in life. And so her ideas of this, may have been like thusly changed, but it's interesting that she's so like, married men do it for me. Every lady knows you drop those ovaries when you see a married man. You're just like, oh, that's definitely what happened with you. Yeah. So basically, Christine's also like, and let me just tell you about Mary. Mary's weird because like Mary was mean to me like a fucking month ago, and then she turned around and be like, let's just bury the hatchet. And I was just like, you know what? I'm too old. I don't need to bury the hatchet, Mary, because I know you too well. And the thing about it is, you're mean to me. I don't like you. You're mean to me. You've been mean to me. You keep being mean to me. And you're mean to other kids. I've seen it. I just don't like you, Mary. I don't trust that even now you saying that, like, let's bury the hatchet, that it would get better. Because one thing I know about you, Mary, is you're mean. Mean Mary. I don't need any more mean Mary in my life. My life's about Moab. That's the only M I need. No meanness, no Mary. um, Christine then says that she wants to have. Did you guys hear that? I heard someone yell outside about, I don't know, parking. Christine wants to have a relationship, she says, with Robin's kids. And that when she didn't want to be friends with Robin anymore, it didn't mean that she didn't want to be friends with her kids. Now, I'm going to tell you that that's a little, to me, a little weird, because there's just, first of all, there's a lot of Robin's kids. There's three that that your baby daddy has no, that he adopted, but God bless. And then there's like the two that like your baby daddy made with his penis. And all in all, I think it's kind of weird to be like, I'll be friends with the children of a parent who they are close with and I hate. It would make sense for you to be like, if Robin's children are open to be friends with me or they ever want to talk to me, they can, especially. And like the side note would be, especially if they need someone to talk to about their crazy ass mom, I'll be there. But it's not really realistic to be like, I would still be friends with Robin's kids, because I don't feel like Robin, I don't understand how I don't understand how Brianna or any of them would feel super confident or comfortable like going to Christine. Now, we also know that Christine's saying this from a place because McKelty was like friends with Robin, but they're not anymore for a second. But then there was that was a different situation, because I think that McKelty was trying to also, in a way, not just be friends with Robin, but extend that olive branch that somehow circles around the entire family and gives it one last shot, where it's like Robin, it's like Cody, it's like, like a Hail Mary pass. And that's not the situation now. And so, but I wonder like if Brianna and Aurora would just like love to like have some Christine hair time with all the Christine hair girls. Aspen, McKelty, all the Christine hair girls. Christine then is also like, you know what? At some point, eventually, I would love to have a reunion once a year. Maybe there's therapy involved. We're like shocked by that. We're like, girl, what? And Robin is like, absolutely fucking hell no. Now that part's crazy, because you're like, Robin, bitch, what? You literally roll back the tape. Wouldn't what? Sell Coyote Pass because you are like so sad about the dream of the family being gone. And then like when a producer's like, hey, would you consider just like ever, like having a one-time reunion? She's like, it's too toxic. There's too much he said, she said. Not he said, she said. This is what she says. She just says there's toxicity and a lot of crap talk. A reunion is a bad idea. If a reunion is a bad idea, then why are you holding on to 17 parcels of land in Flagstaff, Arizona, where only you now live? What? Like any logical person would know this sounds like you are pulling shit out of your fucking ass. I wonder when she watches this, she's like, oh, that sounds bad. Or she's like, yep, they still see me as a victim of the family's hatred for me. And I'm still holding on. But also, I've been hurt. And they should know because of the crap talk. Mostly about me, they're crap talking. Then we get, the Zoom call of Zoom calls. So basically, what has happened is he has to get Mary and Janelle on a FaceTime to talk about this cell. And they do not want to talk to this man. And for some reason, Cody, maybe is like a little villain, is trying to make dumb small talk. And they're like, get me over. Look at Janelle's face. He at one point is like, Mary, look at that Airbnb, do different things. She's like, no, Same Airbnb. He's like, Mary, look at that dog. She's like, yep, that's my dog. And then we get a thing where he's like, I don't get why it's weird now with Mary and me because I moved her. We were like almost like kind of fake fucking in that one scene. And then now she like won't even like try and fake fuck me. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, but that's what he said, kind of. And then Cody's like, hey, heard any good jokes lately? Any good jokes, Janelle? And she's like, I live with kids, so no. And he's like, I live with kids and they're the funniest joke tellers ever. And she's like, well, your kids are older, so no. And also, no, kids are not the funniest joke tellers ever. And like, what fucking is in the water of like where he's like, I don't know. He thinks Ariana is just like so funny. Ari or whatever. She's not. Ariana, is that her name? Ariana Grande, is that her name? I don't know. God bless. But he thinks that one youngest daughter is just like so funny. I mean, I don't think so. She's no like Amanda Bynes, honey. That was a funny kid. God bless her. So he is like, I'm going to move the titles around because there's 2 lots being sold and they're the exact same price. And so Robin and I will be on one lot, and then you and guys can be on one lot, and then the money from the title exchange will go right to you. And they seem great about that. He just has to like get them all to sign the notary and get everything back. The weird thing about selling properties is that the minute that you sell it or whatever, it like everything has to happen immediately. Like you drop everything. It's like having a baby. It's like wherever you are in life, suddenly it's like that's not what you're happening because you're running to an escrow and then you're just like putting the check and getting the cashier's check. It's like that is it, which I get, that's why things happen fast. But it always feels like when the buying of properties, like everything for some reason has to happen immediately fast or it can absolutely fall apart. It's like this house of cards. It's like you have to hit right or someone will pull out or, like the bank won't work or it's just everyone tastes change or whatnot. Selling properties kind of feels like in those moments, like the day that it gets bought or sold, feels like a crazy last last chance effort of a reality dating show on an island, and like they're about to boo up and then have their like elimination round and that like, oh no, we have to like pair up. That kind of energy is the same where it's frantic and chaotic because anything could fall apart at one moment or suddenly everything will work out. And it's just like hangs in the balance. And it's like 50-50 or like, but it feels like 1 billion, 1 billion. you know? I feel like it sounds like I've like sold a lot of properties. I haven't, but just like I have a lot of like real estate realtor friends. It's always like, yeah, it's always so intense, right? I don't know. God bless. Basically, this is where he like complains about the work he had to do to sell the properties, which is because they were in his name because he's the one that put them all in his name. So he's complaining about doing the work because he put them in his name. So and they can't do anything about it. So he's an asshole. And he dodged every bullet he could to try and get things done. Like literally told us that he wouldn't take Mary's call, so Mary had to get a lawyer. And obviously, Janelle complained multiple times that he would just sit on his fucking laurels, sit on his thumbs and like, twiddle them up his butt, which is not how you do that, but you know what I'm saying? Sitting on your thumb and then twiddling your thumbs. But where are your thumbs if you're sitting on them? So you do the math. But that's why it feels like had ulterior motives for tricking banks into thinking he had more money or more equity in order to get a bigger dumb home in Flagstaff that looks very 90s. Okay, so Christine and David talk a little bit about Truly and then also like drops that David thinks that Truly's mean to him, which now I'm like, there's a reason. I'm on Team Truly. Cody thinks at this point, and you can tell that he feels probably wronged by the parental agreement and custody situation he has with Christine. He laments here that he feels like he should have been able to have more discrimination against who his daughter is living with, and that person is obviously David. Now, David is a fine person. So I mean, I think so. Truly would have to like let it be known to someone that she wasn't into David. Now, truly being mean to David isn't a great sign. Now, it's a normal sign if someone has had her whole life uprooted and doesn't know right from wrong and feels like she's taking her anger out on someone. But that's a whole conversation to have with her. But hopefully, she's having it with a therapist and not us. Um, this is where Christine feels like, did you take some goddamn Molly? Because Christine's like, you know what? I think that you and Cody should go on a trip together. I don't have to be there. But the truth of the matter is, Cody is a really good person, and you would have a lot of fun with him. I think you guys would have a lot of fun in Moab. Just get on them scooters and go karts and race cars and whatnot, and just buckle around like she. I don't quite understand this side of Christine. What is the motive for this? Like, we know that a lot of your family just moved to North Carolina. We know how you feel about that. Not great. Not happy about it. Maybe feels like she is being the person not being picked. That Janelle gets all of the kids and her kids, and thusly the grandkids, which is more important than the kids. I wonder if there's like producers being like, Christine, try and get the family together. So it'll be interesting, because I obviously we know what happens because we've been teased about it, but I didn't understand why. And it's still, and if this is the precipice of the conversation, I still don't know why. I can't imagine it's just because you feel like at the end of the day, you've now realized David and Cody are in fact very similar and you want your husband to be good friends with your ex husband. It would make more sense if you were like, I want this for truly. You know what I'm saying? Or your other kids. I mean, there's more than, just truly, I guess, is the youngest, the tenderest of the children. Um, we get the worst scene ever of Mary and Jen building an IKEA desk. Okay. I don't even know what to tell you about that. Except that I cannot believe how many minutes we have to watch footage of Mary borderline peeing her pants, laughing at something mediocrely to less than mediocrely funny that came out of Jen's mouth. I mean, something that's just like, oh, Mary just like dies at each time as they're putting together like, Schmachkopf desk from IKEA. I don't know. So that's that scene. That's all I can tell you about that. Janelle, we get a beautiful scene of her, honey, on the stoop with her bestie, her daughter, Maddie, and they're talking about Cody and the fact that she and Mary are obviously selling the properties. They're on the same property. And she's kind of like breaking down how that went down. And then Maddie's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But how about the money you put in to buy Robin's home? And then we get it back and forth right about that. And Cody's like, yeah, 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 I settled that debt. She did. But you know what? I gave her all the money I needed to give her. And then in April, and then she said, that is enough. You have done well, pig. You have done well, babe. You know, and I took the pat on my nose and that was it. But there it doesn't feel like that point. It does feel like the producers should have gone back to Giselle and be like, what happened in February and why did you tell him it was okay? Or did you tell him it was okay? And how much money was that? And is it like what percentage of what one half you gave him or whatnot? She's like, Maddie, I'm just gonna have to think that is a gift. Janelle's also like, I don't give a fuck. And I'll tell you why. Because Coyote Pass was like going to be a dream and Robin can pretend that that's the dream she's holding on to. My dream, this place is 100% better. And I kind of feel like I trust Maddie and Janelle to do things better than Cody and Robin for everything I've seen. And it's not, I mean, I believe that. I didn't love my sister's closet, and there's been, I don't think that Coyote Pass wasn't going to be like a commercial property, but the dream would have been other people's, and I think that Janelle would have had such a small percentage of like say and a value in this dream. Maybe she's just like, well, I don't really want to have sex with anyone anyway, so I would have just, raised my kids where they want to be raised. And they were like, yeah, I'll tell you where we want to be raised, mom, not with Cody and Robin. It was really, I think, like her sons that were kind of like the first to be like, motherfucker, no, nope, not dad, fuck him. And then Janelle being like, okay, you guys say fuck dad. You know what? You're not wrong. And then Cody was like, Janelle, you tell your sons, not my sons, your sons, that they are wrong, that they should kiss the ring of their father. And she was like, no, I can't tell him that. I kind of agree with them. And yeah, I like them more than you. So, like, no. Must have been such an interesting, horrible feeling when Cody realized that the power of his word and word alone started to slowly mean nothing. It must have been exactly or somewhat like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future, looking back at pictures of himself and seeing the image start to fade in real time. So, but like it's fading and you're seeing it happen and it's sudden enough where you're like, oh my God. And the minute you look back at the picture, it's less is even there. Every time for like 2 years, he talked to members of his family. This is Cody. He would feel how they slipped farther and farther away from caring about his opinion, submitting to his wants, allowing him to make decisions on their behalf, you know? And I wonder if it was confusing or how if it what he felt for so long until he got it. I don't know. He listen started the episode being like, we didn't see Jack, and I'm like, I would like to see more. I feel like that moment happened. So it's back to Cody and Robin, and then this is basically where it ends, which is great because already now I've talked longer than the episode, but I have so many pictures from this. So this is also of the two scenes that I feel like they've teased us the most with. Well, there's three scenes. There's three scenes for this whole season they've teased us the most with. One, this scene. Cody and Robin talking about a new woman in front of a fucking bunch of dolls. Great. The second scene that we're getting teased with, we've set up now in this episode, which is that Cody and David, best friends, BFF, Dick brothers, um, go karting or whatever that is. And then the third scene is that for some reason all people come and meet on Coyote Pass, like some weird Western where they're like, bow, bow, is that how you went? Remember that sound? That's like the sound of a tumbleweed. Anyway, and they all come together on Cody Pass. We've seen this where like they all kind of like look stern. Like every time I feel like I see like Janelle's face, like I don't know if this is real or this is like now the Mandela effect where I feel like Janelle's like, and like Mary with her piercing eyes is like, and like Christine doesn't have to be there at all. She's so happy. She's like watching the scene. She's like, ha fuckers. Hey, David / Cody / David, rub my feet. No, I'm just kidding. So this is the scene, the first scene I talked about. So it starts with them putting up this goddamn picture, which is the picture that Crystal Brown, I don't know if this person's related, painted of Diesel Jean model herself, a young Robin pressing her whole fucking pelvis body pussy into Cody's crotch before they're married on his like stupid, overly priced, small sports car when he had 29 kids at this point. This picture lives in infamy. Okay. And then of course, Cody's like, I love that picture. Just me, looks like a young James Dean with the matinee goddess of stage and cinema at the time, Robin. It's so cheesy. It's great. Robin's like, I like the pic, but I'm so shy. I don't like when people look at it. It just feels so sexual. It feels so lusty. It just represents like the sex we had in that car before we got married. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, look at this picture. Just- okay. With everything they say, everything that happens in the scene, it's just like so LOL. So that happens, and we're like, oh my God. And they put up that picture, and you're like, thank God. And that's not even the like that picture, and obviously the painting she put of Cody with her children at baby and toddler age when he not nary knew them then is also like the other piece of art that lives in infamy in this show, like both things. But let's move on. So he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So in other news, and women wanting me news, women throwing their pussy at me news, I got a DM, and the DM was from this woman, and the woman on Instagram or whatever is like, you guys gave up on polygamy too fast, and how dare you? If you were real polygamists, if you really wanted to go to heaven or whatever, you wouldn't have given up on it so fast. And he then is like, so I didn't know what to say, so I deleted it, but I also wish that I had showed you before I deleted it. And she's like, well, thank you. Thank you for telling me that. It's kind of weird, but also thank you for, I guess, telling me now. And Robin's face when he's saying this looks like this. She's obviously not happy. Now, Cody is saying this here. Now, here is where we see a brown armoire, a glass menagerie, if you will, a fucking glass menagerie. The top row looks like Yadro, which is a very specific 90s reference. You're welcome. That's the first row, the top row, Yadro. Okay. Porcelain, it's a artist of porcelain figurines that my aunt and my mother had. And I don't know if it was a Lebanese woman thing or just a 90s woman thing or like, trying to be fancy thing, but like that was one style. Everyone had yadros. They're like women in like kind of basic skirts, sometimes with umbrellas. Like that's what yadros are. Okay. In various, it must have been trad wife. Like they're always like in the sort like states of matrimonial or feminine bliss, but like from a vantage point of 90s. The second row of this glass menagerie is one fucking doll that is staring into our souls that is not a normal looking doll. It's not rich looking. It's not special looking. It looks scary. It looks like someone's childhood doll that is n- made, homemade, bought from, a sad Nordic shopkeeper. Like okay, that's the one staring us in a blue dress. Then there's like a plate, and then on the other side is like a yarn-haired kind of flip-flappy sock kind of doll. Okay. That's the second tier of this glass menagerie. Third tier, all angels, maybe precious moments. If you get up close, they look maybe somewhat precious moments. I'm not quite sure. Fourth tier, silverware. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because I think every choice, because glass menageries, those kind of armoires are to put things on display that you care about. They are curated knickknacks, paddywhacks that you're putting on display to show people, just like coffee table books. Like they're made to be seen. And the thought process is if you are seeing them, the person has laid them there for you to see. She wants you to. What are the mind synapses that allows someone to make these choices for their home? Now, we know she loves dolls because of the Etsy thing, but we also feel like she's hiding them dolls and hiding the real reasons why she's buying them. She doesn't talk about them to us, but she's putting them on display, not even the good dolls, because the truth of the matter is these are not the dolls. I mean, that doll with the blue cannot be the doll that she's like spending that much money on Etsy. That's not a normal doll, okay? Why am I spending so much time on this? Because I think she's insane. I think it's so insane. I think this is like the kind of thing where you like look at that and you're like, that's the way that the mind of that person works. She put everything in that place with intention. Read why. Side note is like my favorite thing to do, and this is like a fun thing to do, is like when you go see theater or whatever, but like you can do this with film or whatever. And you do this when you look at a piece of art, like a painting, is really judge every single morsel of like why things are there, why they have made those choices. But yeah, when you see like a play, especially if the curtain is up, but the play hasn't started, you get a full view of the set. And often it's just so fun to look around and be like, why'd they choose that? Why'd they choose that? Is this a home? If it's a home, you can like see what products, can you see what's in the refrigerator? Can you see what's in the kitchen? Like it says so much about the family, right? Because you're like, what does this inner working look like? That glass menagerie told so much. I It's a couple of things. It's really the doll staring at us, the face of the girl in the blue dress. So basically what happens is after this moment, Cody starts to say things like, listen, I do have to say I like the attention, but I just don't know, what you feel about this. And remember, he had asked Robin before how she felt about it. She's like, well, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you. And Robin, again, was holding on to Coyote Pass and the idea of the family, almost leading us to believe that she really wanted this life. And Cody said things like, she doesn't, like think highly of me now because of this, like as if Cody, not being married to more than one woman, like makes her think less of him. And so we're like, does Robin want this? So Robin is listening to him talk about whether he would entertain such a idea. And she is like very nervously just pulling the skin like under her chin in a way that is a like obvious panic or nervous energy thing. Like just because God bless, it's like she's pulling like, like the turkey neck. Like no one, I'm not saying she has one, but I'm saying she's doing it on camera in such a way that feels like she's not cognizant that she's listening to this man, and she's somewhat stemming in a way to deal with what he's saying. Stemming is a big word. I mean, not a big word. I mean, obviously a word is used, and I'm using it meaning like, yeah, like the nervous energy, nervous tick or comfort thing that she's doing without realizing it, but she's on camera as he's talking about this, as that doll looks on. Robin's like, listen, I get it. Any young woman would have her eggs drop in the presence of a married man because she's guaranteed that he is marriage material. She's just like, yeah, I get it. Everyone just sees that Cody, is a great guy. What? Marriage material. Is he? Okay. She's like, I get it. That's what I saw on Cody. Oh. She's also like, I don't like the form. You can't go to the man and slide to the DMs. You have to go through a sister wife, which we know she did. Remember, they were in church and she and Cody fell in love through eye contact. Then she was talking to Mary. Just so happens she didn't know that Mary and Cody were married. Then one day later, this picture is taken. But I don't know. Okay, you tell me. I wish to God that someone in that church at that time would like go to Reddit and just just give a little voice of God. Just this is the angel Gabriel giving a message. I don't know. These are Catholic terms. I'm just putting in like religious terms. But I wish someone would just isolate a little more of that, of what was happening. Cody's like falling in love with Robin ruined Christine. No, buddy, you did. You did. Because I'm not going to even give Robin that she ruined Christine. Cody ruined Christine. If Cody was a decent husband to Christine, he would have had her back in a way. He would have had like a lot of sympathy and empathy because that was his wife for 20 years. And this was this new person he just met bringing in. So interesting. Cody also fucking says the dumbest thing ever, which is like that women just can't handle like the jealousy. You know what I'm saying? And like, women can't handle not being the most loved one, but men can, men can. I'm like, Cody, are you insane? I would love, 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 love a world in which Cody did have to be a fucking brother husband and not just a brother husband. Obviously, I would love a world in which Cody had to be a brother husband and be like the bottom of the totem pole, the lowest of the low, like the side bitch of the thing, where let's just say the woman in charge was like, "You're my favorite, Todd. I love when you like lay it down, Steven. And then if I like, want to go on a jet ski, there's you, Cody." Where Cody could really feel like, I do everything I power not to spend time with you. I definitely want to spend time with these other guys. When it comes to you, it's like, I'm going to be at your house for like 2 seconds and then I can't wait to leave. And the kids I've had with you, like, they're your kids. You know where I am spending time with my real family. Like, if he actually got to experience that, I don't think that he'd be like, men can handle it because Cody has like no ego. I'm sorry, sorry. Cody has such an ego. It's a very fragile ego. It's LOL because it does feel like Cody would love more adoration. He said it. He wants more sex. He wants more adoration. He wants more physical affection. Robin's not given enough of all of it. At the same time, Robin does not, and even after saying everything that she says, fully says now that she does not want another wife. Robin says, and this is two parts. Robin says the following things. Robin says Cody didn't have the other wives feeling like he had all of their backs in a way that she, I'm assuming, sees that he did hers. And that was a fault of his. And that's true. I just said it. And Cody sort of like hears that and accepts it, which was it. That's almost like the question I posed to you. Is that what happened? Do you feel like that's what happened? Because this is what happened. Like she says that part. And then he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But let's go back to that DM that girl that sent me and how I could get more pussy and how I feel about that. And she's like, no, no, no. You skipped over what I just fucking said. I just told you that we can't have any more women here because you have proved yourself to be a man and a husband that would not make them feel like you had all of their backs. So why would we bring another one on? He's like, yeah, that's what you said. Oh, yeah. Notice what I heard. I failed. I'm like, did you just take accountability? Or are you only parroting, which is what you've always done, and yes anding Robin, who has now softly given you the blow that it was your fault and you've just like, batted it in. Like, is that what happened? I have just it's why yeah, it's wild to me that you can somehow invade someone's entire mind, body, and soul to only trust your opinion on things. So much so that like that person just spent a lot of time agreeing and yes anding you. And it's so funny because Robin's energy in this scene is so wildly different than the scene of her like flirting with Cody back in the day. I mean, when she's flirting with Cody, we see her just like, yeah. Oh, like I mean, I can't remember a word she said, but you really see her like giving him eyes, like really smiling and really like smizing, really sexizing, really just like, hmm. And the way that she looks at him now is with such terror and with such, what the fuck are you going to have to do? Or what the fuck are you going to do now? And what the fuck am I going to have to do to put out the fire that you're going to like start? Marriage has definitely shifted and changed. I just like, it's just so great. He says that he, doesn't want to move on with any other wives because he has not sat in the full understanding of his failure with this one. And we're like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, it's my failure because I was steering the ship and everyone decided they didn't wanna be in the ship anymore." And everyone's like, "Yeah, okay, oh my god, yes, that is what happened." It felt so if his acceptance and admittance of this, for some reason, didn't have the same, like, payoff I wanted it to. Maybe because Robin, like, softballed it to him, and maybe because when she did, he quickly tried to change the subject, that I will say, I do applaud Robin, who was like, "Wait, did you just fucking hear what I said? Did you just hear what I said?" She did get him to come back and, like, react off of what she said instead of obviously what he did, jump in his mind back to, like, how he gets more flowers. I loved that. For some reason, the thing that Robin did is she was able to get him to be more grounded and truthful with her, and also weaker and more vulnerable with her than anyone else had for whatever reason. And maybe he would say it's because she showed me vulnerability. She really sits in her feelings, my shy, pretty wife, all that stuff. And then I want to be like, well, then why did that energy turn you into such a weak soul yourself? Like, it feels like if she did have such a shy, pretty wife, why was her like, I don't know, her like modesty or her like demureness, if it really got to a vulnerable place in you and hit a space you had never felt that made you fall in love, why didn't that make you a better, more evolved person? It didn't, though. It made you more insecure. Ultimately, like creating a really crazy codependent relationship with you and just her, foregoing all of your other family members, almost like a cult like or worship of this person. And when we talk about like typical people that get involved with I can't say gurus very well, or cults, or people who get in codependent relationships, or people who get in abusive relationships, one sometimes similar feature can be a feeling of insecurity. Now, listen, people feel insecure all the time. Certainly I do. So maybe just like that's a, symptom of being human for sure. But it's interesting that like falling in love and having the love of his life like didn't allow him to sit in a certain like wisdom or comfort or life experience or like newfound perspective. It diminished him in my eyes, and I don't think I'm the only one. Now, maybe there's a whole other conversation where it was like, no, it just illuminated the person that was always there, that was like a sort of fake veneered person. Maybe, yeah, maybe she was just the catalyst to like light the fire that was always percolating. We'll just never know. Well, we certainly wish we did. And it's annoying to me that Cody was like, you haven't seen Jack. Or I'm like, well, then tell us. My loves, he says that he's now just trying to make best of the current situation. And yeah, that Robin says she never wants to live polygamy again because she's, scarred. Which I was like, okay, yeah, now it makes sense because now Robin can be like, you can't ever do that to me. I'm scarred. Now she is a victim of polygamy, which is interesting because yeah, she's a victim of polygamy. But the funny thing is, between Cody and Robin, I would say Cody is more. Cody's the one that was like the victim of polygamy in them two. His whole life was taken. She, she still has that. She has a home. She's done better. She went into the situation less than what she got out. Cody went into that situation I mean, he can say it less or more. He can be like, listen, I have less family members, but I have more Robin. I have more love of my life. I have less children. Eh. I mean, I don't know what he would. Yeah. Arguably, she has more than she went in with. Arguably, he has less. He has less wives. He has less love if we are still talking about the concept of the show that love is to be multiplied, not divided. Robin divided it. Love is to be multiplied, not divided. Robin divided it. She was the backslash, and then he went with division. He put all his money on division. It's so funny. It's so weird. I mean, life's weird. People just say hypocritical things and do something, whatever they want to do. They say something and do whatever they want to do is what I want to say. It sounded weird because I said redundant things. She's hypocritical. He's hypocritical. Yeah, that's the end of the episode, my loves. Can you believe it? I can look at those dolls all day. I think that she grew up with this one. I think the one that's staring at us is the one that Robin grew up with. I think that's the one she held tight. I think that there's fucked up bangs on that doll. I think Robin cut it, or one of Robin's sisters did. Robin talks about how she always wanted sister wives. In this episode, she always wanted like a family, and I was like, yeah. Were you also the victim of your family? Was there not enough people loving you? I love you guys so much. Yeah, coming up, obviously more Mormons, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is happening. I'm excited about Topher next week too, and HEA. We're finishing up on DocuSweeties, and you can absolutely follow me on Substack. I'm doing fun things there. I have a November playlist out, and I have November intentions out. I did a whole episode. Sorry, what am I talking about? I did a whole essay on McKelty's eyebrows. I think it's not badly written, and it's super dumb. That's the whole point. Really dumb, fun, stupid essays about vanity, beauty stuff, and pop culture. So if you care about that, it's on my Substack, Chris Farah. Of course, I'm Chris L. Farah on social medias like Instagram and TikTok. I have a Facebook group, Vanity Farah. I'm also Chris Farah on Facebook. You can like there. I stream from YouTube. So make sure that you have subscribed to my YouTube channel, like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment when it goes up, or share if you can. All those things really help. I really want to read what you guys have said thus far. That was the end of the episode for me. Let me hear. If they do find another wife, it'll only be supplement income because Cody can't do it all by himself. Ooh, it was gross how she was saying how great he was, and David was like, "Yeah, no, he's a shit dad." Yeah, it was interesting. Why Christine fucking suddenly was like, it was great, Cody. Great guy. I always said he was a great, fun guy. Yeah, shitty dad, And David's like, yeah, real shitty dad. So shitty that I have to say that out loud to be like, why do you want me to go go-karting with him? Because he's a shitty dad. I want to co-sign his shitty dadness. Anyway. I really need Christine to like fill in that a little bit. Hi. I haven't seen the show in years. I wonder if the first wife feels tricked out of her marriage. I mean, yeah, the streets would say that Mary being the first wife, probably, yeah, specifically because Mary was the one that was actually married to Cody, and then she got divorced because Robin had to marry him, because he had to adopt her kids. I love it. They're just a set of very tacky people. Yes. For sure tacky, but they don't know it, and like it's under this veil of like tacky it's funny because they're like not the kind of like overly obnoxious tacky people, but they are this really like, well, Robin is like this passive aggressive tackiness, this passive tack, this slow moving tackiness, she sits in her tackiness. You know that. That's what makes her very special. She feels her tackiness incredibly deeply. Does Robin even act as though she's happy even her kids have sour looks on their faces? I mean, I think that one daughter is so happy to have a boyfriend just to be like have someone to leave with and like, God bless. And we don't see the other ones that much. Well, we don't see Dayton at all now, God bless. And Peyton sort of talked about that. But Brianna, we only see sometimes. Brianna? I don't know, my loves. I really need some outside perspective. God, it would be so bad, but great if like Mary instead of having this dumb Jen shit would like do a little sleuthing and find someone from like Robin or Cody's past or someone from the church there that could be like, you know what? I'm going to co-sign that there might have been some extracurricular activities. Because just as Cody said, we didn't see Jack. And Mary, you might not know what happened. I mean, like, I would love a little more. What do you guys think? I love that. Yeah. I do think they're going to be on Dancing with the Stars. I do think Cody would do it. And this like special forces thing was just the like perfect starter because Dancing with the Stars is still pretty all American of a show, you know? Oh my goodness gracious. What's on the docket for you guys? I hope you're having a really great week. I hope that you're having a happy hump day. It's 8:18. 818. It's the 818s. Here, I'm gonna have to leave soon so I can shut down my mind and like go to bed. Also watch something fun. Who would you want to be his partner on dancing? Shelberg. I was kidding. I don't know all the partners now. I don't know all the women. I only know Cheryl. It's hard because it's like I would want someone that would really like fucking put him in his place. Be hard on him. I don't know who that person is. Maybe I can like do a little due diligence. I've been watching a little bit of like the snippets of dancing, but I don't watch the show. So like I've watched Whitney like on TikTok, but that's it. Are you guys watching? Someone told me that Whitney is like a villain and hated on the show, which makes me so happy. I've only been watching her dances, which obviously she's great. So I didn't realize that she was hated. I mean, I assume I know why because she's a villain. She plays it very well. But I also thought people would like her because she's so good at dancing. I don't know. All right, my loves. Jessie J, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you and Flower Lotus. Thank you for hanging out with me and just listening to me talk. Amy, Janae, Maxine, I appreciate you all. And the silent listeners, I appreciate you too. Honestly, thank you. Just give it a little thumbs up if you don't mind. That'll really help me. And it's a silent way of helping me. You don't have to do anything, but I'll know. And I'll say a little prayer for you tonight. Also, if you leave a comment after this goes up, I will write back. All right, my babes? Goodness gracious. Please take care of yourselves, okay? And one another. Stand up for what you believe and make art. And I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your little time and space with me. All right. Happy holidays. I'm grateful. Mwah. See you next week. Bye.